Tim has a question, Pastor Steve, and he asks, what advice can you give on counseling a known manipulator? Now, I asked him, are we talking kids, or are we talking adults? And specifically, he's talking about adults or older people that are manipulators.
Well, you know what? When you're manipulating somebody, what you're trying to do is get something from them that they don't necessarily want to give you, right? And so that's taking and not giving. And when you're manipulating somebody, you're misrepresenting the facts, which is a lie. So you got two things going on with manipulators. They're greedy and they're liars. They want stuff from people, and they're liars. And one of the simple passages that deals with this is in Ephesians chapter 4, and it talks about the principle of putting off the old man and putting on the new man. And so one of the issues is, does the guy really know Jesus? That would be the first thing that I would talk to him about. And so if he really knows Jesus, is he being convicted of these things? And if he's not being convicted of these things, the guy needs to be filled with the Holy Spirit, and something needs to be happening there, right? And so that would be the first place that I would go. And then the second place I would go is to this passage in Ephesians. And in verse 21, it says, if indeed you have heard him, talking about Jesus, and have been taught by him as the truth is in Jesus, that you put off concerning your former conduct the old man which grows corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. And so obviously the guy's mind needs to be changed. It needs to be renewed. And that you put on the new man, which was created according to God in true righteousness and holiness. Therefore, putting away lying. And so that's the idea. Literally in Greek, it's the idea of taking off a pair of clothes and putting on a new set of clothes. And so you take off one, you put on another. And you don't just stop doing it. You know, a lot of times their counsel is stop it. You know, well, it's not just stop it. It's stop it. Stop what you're doing that's sinful, that's ungodly, and start doing exactly the opposite of that thing. And that's what Paul's going to say in this passage. Therefore, putting away lying, so you stop lying. Let each one of you speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. If you're a liar and you want to stop lying, you have to practice the truth. You have to be committed to the truth. You have to be committed to speaking the truth. And earlier on, he talks about speaking the truth in love. And so that doesn't mean that you have to say everything that comes comes into your mind, because everything that comes into your mind is not worth sharing. It's something to keep in mind, right? And so what I need to do is speak the truth, and I need to speak the truth in love. And so when I'm talking to somebody and I am a liar, I have to go, I'm not going to lie to this guy. I have to love him as much as I love myself. That's why people tell lies, because they love themselves. I have to love him as much as I love him myself, and I am going to tell the truth to this guy. And you have to be committed to that. And so it's something that you practice. And once you start putting that into practice, it's going to become a habit, and then it's going to become a character, part of your character. And this is all done by praying and asking God to fill you with His Spirit and dependence on Him. So there's the lying part. The greed part is in verse 28. It says, let him who stole steal no longer. Stealing is taking stuff from people that they don't want to give you. That's what stealing is. And that's what manipulators do. They want to take things from people that they don't want to give them, right? So you're trying to get somebody to do something you want them to do. So let him who stole steal no longer, but rather let him labor, working with his hands what is good, that he may have something to give him who has need. And so when you're a taker, you have to stop taking, and you have to start practicing giving to people. And that's the only way that you stop this stuff. It's the only way to stop being a thief. It's the only way that you stop being a manipulator and somebody who's constantly got the agenda going and wanting people to do things for them. You need to be somebody who's more interested in doing something for other people than in getting stuff from them. And I don't know a better way that's the Bible. So I don't know what a better way to do that. And people who are committed to that become people who are useful. So
yeah,
pretty straightforward.
When it's, like let's say it's somebody not just coming to you for advice or an acquaintance or a work person, but like someone that's family or intimately involved in your life, one of the effective ways, and you can do this for counseling as well, but, spending 10 years in the jail where this is what these guys do, when you can look someone in the eye and you're different than the normal people they manipulate, and you speak plainly to them and whatever the situation, and you go, I know what you're doing. Don't do it with me. And then point out some of the stuff and go, this is what you are. This is what you should be. It kind of removes all the little habits of manipulation, because they realize they have to be a little bit real with you.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then the conversation, to me, bears more fruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,